Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs postgame show presented by Pointsbet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Rockies beat the Cubs 6-5 out in the Mile High City. I'm Luke Stuckmeyer, Cody Delmendo, Kyle Williams here, and hopefully Ryan Herrera checking in from the Cubs clubhouse here at some point on the postgame show. Listen, the way I look at this game, the first game of the series is a game the Cubs very easily could have lost. This is a game they very easily could have won.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. This game was just annoying because you had a lead. You had a lead with your number one pitcher. A
3-0 lead
with your best pitcher. I mean, let's be real. Marcus Stroman is that dude. He's supposed to be the guy. He was rolling. We're up 3-0. The offense is rolling. We're scoring early. And Marcus Stroman gives up a 5 spot in that, what was it, the 4th inning?
Yeah.
And it all started with, of course, a infield single by Kris Bryant. I don't know what else to say. This one sucks. I know we got a bunch of games to go, but like me and Corey said last night, every time the Cubs go to Colorado, it just is never fun. It's never fun because they score runs, but they won't win games. And like that's how I feel every year when they go to Colorado. They find a way to just make me want to pull my hair out. And tonight they make me want to pull my hair out. I blame myself because I tweeted, "Oh, I'm having so much fun during this game," and then Stroman did what he did. And again, a lot of it has to do with Coors Field and stuff. But yeah, he really lost command in that 4th inning, and that led to the 5-run inning, and then the Cubs forgot how to score runs, but with guys on base, and yeah.
Scott Crawford's with you. He says, I hate them, I hate them, I hate them on the chat.
Yeah.
No, it was after Stroman gave up the home run on the splitter, it just went downhill from there, and this team, they were getting on base. They were getting guys in scoring positions. They just couldn't bring them home, and that's the story of this game.
Why is this Cardinals fan in the chat?
Don't worry about the Cardinals fan. I just realized something.
He needs to leave.
I love the
yell at him.
purple sweatshirt for, Easter or whatever, but this was the wrong choice today, Kyle. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, I just realized I've been sitting next to you all night, and I look over and all it's missing is the Rockies logo.
I had on these black and white shoes.
Oh, even the shoes match the Rockies.
And I wanted to wear them tonight, and then this is the only thing I had to go with the shoes, and I didn't think about it until I walked in. I was like, oh, that's
what
not
a
a good
rookie
look.
mistake that is. Unbelievable.
No wonder you're the intern, man. Oh, shit.
No, I mean, there were so many opportunities, really, in this game. Mm-hmm. Do you like the piece of cheese at the end of the game where we were all like, just one swing in the bat, one swing in the bat, one swing in the bat?
The fake rally, as they call it.
I mean, they get the tying run all the way over to third base, and your guy Hermosillo comes up, and we're like, one swing in the bat.
Yeah. And
would you prefer that, or would you just like to, lose it without any runs? It
depends on who you're playing and how the game is going. Since they're playing at Coors Field, you're like, anything really can happen.
I like to see the fight. I like to see the fight from a team that, it wasn't going their way a lot of times, but there were some positives in it. We'll talk about some of those later. Obviously, I thought, yesterday Thompson was one, Efros was one tonight.
Yeah. Bullpen was actually really good outside of that homer that Chris Martin gave up, but he even managed to get out of that little jam. He had some command problems because after he gave up the homer, I think he gave up 2 more hits after that, but then got a strikeout to get out of it, and then after that, the bullpen was lights out. So, yeah, again, they're coming together, which is nice.
It's Red Room says, I have the big sads from this game.
The big sads.
The big sads, but still confident.
Nothing like having the big sads at 11:20 p.m. on a Friday
No,
night, man.
no, it's not the way you want to head into your head into your weekend.
Yeah.
13 hits, 18 left on base, and the Rockies radio announcer saying, hey, this team will single you to death. Listen, this is what you signed up for when you said we want a different offense. I'm not saying realistically what Cubs fans probably want is half of this offense and half of the last offense. You just don't want the swings of all one way or all the other way. They needed the big hit tonight to get it over the top. They needed the home run.
Yeah.
They needed that Contreras fly ball to go over the wall, or they needed VR's to go off.
They needed Contreras to swing the bat in the eighth inning.
Yeah, they sure did that too. But they had those opportunities, but you want contact. You got contact. You had 13 hits.
Yeah. What, 6 walks? Something like that?
You had plenty of guys on base.
Plenty of guys. And it's just
couldn't get the big hit this time.
Yeah.
Only 4 major league teams have less only 4 major league teams have less home runs than the Cubs. So they only have 6 home runs on this season. I believe the Dodgers lead Major League Baseball with 13. Just their lack of power just in games like this is when you just need that power bat. And Suzuki wasn't, outside of the one at bat, I'm not having him hurts, but it's just the team that doesn't have any consistent power right now.
And they hit the home run. Mm-hmm. The Rockies hit the home run. And Trejo's home run.
2 home runs.
Yeah, his home run, though, changed the game, right?
Yeah, for sure.
They got the big home run. The Cubs didn't get the big home run.
Right.
And that home run sent Stroman going, and it totally changed the way everybody looked at the game.
Yeah. That inning with that 4th inning with Stroman and how it started, it goes with like every game. I feel like any team plays at Coors Field, it's just like any person gets on and suddenly chaos will happen. And that's why there's always a ton of runs, and their outfield is so big and all this. And, it is what it is. But, yeah, I really thought Stroman just lost his command in that for those last few batters. And, that's what really hurt him, because then he started walking people, and that's not something he's known for doing. And, so am I worried about Marcus Stroman? No, I'm not worried about Marcus Stroman. I just am a little irked because this was if the Cubs were going to actually perhaps maybe win this series, they needed to win this game tonight. Now I'm back on the train of we could still split. You know what I mean? But, you obviously need more out of your big free agent starting pitcher that you got. And I feel like over the course of the year, we will get that. But again, Coors Field, he was due for a bad start at Coors Field. Apparently, he's been really great
Coors
there.
Field last year, 3 hits.
Right.
Is all he gave up. And, this outing, it was the split finger fastball. I just left it out over the plate, and that was it.
Right.
That's the difference in the game.
Yeah, I agree with Cody. This was the game to get. You have your ace, your best pitcher on the mound. You expect to get this one, especially with the way he was pitching up until the home run that he allowed. But tomorrow, Mark Leiter Jr. is going to be pitching for the Cubs, probably more of a bullpen game.
Day, yeah.
So, it's not the greatest sign going into that, but this is just one of those games where, just like you said, crazy stuff happens at Coors Field.
Yeah. What else? People in the comments are talking about Suzuki and asking our thoughts on why he didn't stay in. And here's my 2 cents on it. If I could go back and change anything now that I know what happened, I guess you hold on to Suzuki on the bench until that 8th inning or even that 9th inning, and use someone else, maybe bat Hermosillo instead, because there was a base open. So you could argue that maybe it was a clear, maybe they didn't intentionally walk him anyway type situation in that, was it the 5th inning?
Yes, I think
5th
so.
or the 6th inning. So like that's what I got for that. Like they went into the day saying that Suzuki was getting an off day and with maybe one at bat. Personally, I was a little irked that they didn't put Suzuki in the game, but I also understand why they didn't. Like, the reason that I'm irked is because I want to win the game, and the Cubs are better when they have Suzuki in the game. That is clear. That is, like, a fact. There's no like, getting around that. That's a fact. But I understand off days, and, again, we have to remember this is a developmental year, and we need him to stay fresh and healthy all season, right? So
it's only April.
Right. So I get why people are like, well, the season just started, blah, 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 blah. I get that, but, like you always say.
10 straight games. Contreras, took a day off.
Right. And like you always say, David Ross knows more about baseball than I do.
I'm just – and he knows more about how the guys are feeling.
Right.
Maybe say after that game, Ross thought to himself, yeah, he had a miscue in the outfield. He had a miscue running the bases. Maybe that was he's a little mentally tired. It's been a lot going on for him from signing to getting to spring training to opening up the season, just playing game after game after game and playing well. But maybe he needed a night off to just kind of –
Yeah.
I think Cubs fans, too, just want to see him hitting that Coors Field juice box. The way he's hitting right now, who wouldn't want to see that?
Right. Yeah. No, I agree. And, when he did get that at bat, it was a big spot, so I get why they used him there. It just, with the first base open, you could tell they threw him 2 pitches. They were both nowhere near the zone, and then they said, forget it, we're just going to walk him and take our chances, and it worked out for them.
Jake was talking about the offense on the chat and saying, I still think it's going to come. You get more guys on base.
Yeah.
You get more at-bats with runners in scoring position. This offensive night is the night you'd like to see on those cold nights at Wrigley Field where the ball's just going nowhere. And probably true in Colorado because it was cold there tonight too. But in the mile-high air, it usually will take at least you need at least one home run when you're playing at Mile High. You're not gonna win a game in the Mile High City with a bunch of singles.
That or whether it's a home run, you need the big hit too. There was a inning there where Madrigal and Contreras got back-to-back doubles that led to a run.
Yeah.
Like
you'll get runs, but it's probably not going to be enough runs.
Right.
Whereas this would have been a perfect offensive game on one of those days at Wrigley where the wind is just howling in. Like you would say, oh great, this is what you need to do. This is what the past Cubs couldn't do was just get runners on base and try to keep the line moving a little bit.
Maybe, looking back at it, Yan Gomes has been playing well. I know you don't want to remove your last catcher, like your remaining catcher on the bench, like take him out of the game, but he's been hitting well. Would have been a decent spot for him that would have been able to save Suzuki, but again, how baseball is. It can get wild. You never know. Like maybe that's why Ross didn't use Gomes there. He didn't use him at all tonight. And he's been hitting well too. I would have been, I don't know. That's my whole thing with Suzuki is like, I wish they would have saved him later, but I also understand like when you have a chance to try and score a run, like in a big moment of the game, and at that point it felt like a big moment. Like I get it. So again, my biggest thing with David Ross tonight would probably be how he did manage that bench with that situation. Because if you're going to give Suzuki the night off, just give him the night off. And if you get late in the game and you're close, then give him the at-bat. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Rather seen it later in the game.
Yeah.
Ferris pointed out, wow, you guys are up late. Yes, we are, Ferris.
We're here, man.
We don't
We've been
quit.
at the
We're here
office
for
all
you.
evening.
We're here for you. It was a winnable game, as he said as well. We've talked about that. However, we'll point out that in yesterday's post-game show, we talked a lot about, with Corey, that don't give up on Patrick Wisdom. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star player or any of that stuff. It's that you watch Twitter and the content was, it's over, DFA him, move on. I've seen enough, and it was like, slow down. There's no reason not to let him play for at least another week before you even make him take a day off. Just like see what happens. And tonight, you know what? He came through. He was much better at the plate. So.
Especially in that second at bat in the 9th inning. Like the first one, he didn't hit it super hard or anything. He just put it in the right spot, and he was due for one of those because like it'd been going real bad for him. But the second one, he ripped that ball into the gap, and so yeah, it's positive.
Maybe that gets him going.
Yeah. I said last night like maybe a day or two off for him, but after tonight, I feel like I don't know. I don't have the matchup in my head right now, but maybe you put him back in there tomorrow, and he definitely. I feel like with him doing that, you gotta stick with it.
Yeah.
Let him keep going. So
VR had a good game too, 2 for 3.
True. Yeah.
And he hit the ball hard at the end too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could
DH him. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see because like I said last night, like this guy was a former first round pick for a reason, and I've believed that he just wasn't given a shot. Of course, the league caught up to him. It took him a long time to really kind of find any kind of adjustment period. Use the offseason to do that, and now we got to see it play out. And I hope for him it does, because if he is a guy for this team, then that's only good for the Cubs down the road. So
Hey, Nick Madrigal made a pretty nice play in this game.
yeah, the sliding one going towards first
Pretty
base.
nice play.
Yeah. I think back-to-back nights of good baseball from him. There's some things on the defensive side. I think you can, if you want to nitpick, I get it, and I think it goes back to how that fourth inning went with Stroman. Yeah. It all started with the infield single by Kris Bryant, and he beat the shift,
Right,
and Madrigal was able to field it, but he didn't get the ball over there fast enough.
But that's a tough play.
But that's a tough play, though, right? Like, it's hard to nitpick it, but like I'm just going off what I was reading on my Twitter timeline. People were freaking out over it. Like, this guy can't catch a break. But I don't know, man. Like I think he's still trying to get going. He didn't play all of last year, basically.
Tore his hamstring.
Right. Like there's a lot of coming back this guy has to do, but all things to me is encouraging, at least for him, because he's just putting the bat on the ball and he's getting hits, not just singles. He had a double tonight too.
Jack agrees with you, Cody. He says he feels that Ross burns his best bench bats too early sometimes.
Yeah. It is. I wouldn't say it's like a consistent thing, but there is times where I'm like, wouldn't you want to save that person for later? But yeah, I don't know, man. It's just something. It's always, when you lose the game, you can always look back and blame something on the manager. Absolutely. So it is what it is.
And he's caught, not knowing how to use a DH. Maybe this is the first time he's in this situation where he doesn't have to hit for the pitcher slot. Maybe he's using these bats a little bit too early, just being used to what he used to do. That's true.
Fair point.
And I will say this, Joe points out, at least Ross doesn't intentionally walk people with the bases loaded. Joe, wait, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that later in the podcast. We will address Joe Madden's crazy move in this game. Yeah, the Cubs lose 6-5 to the Rockies. 2 more games in the series, and like you said, Cody, there's still a chance to get a split. It's just disappointing because
series,
that's true. It's disappointing because they got away with one in game 1, and you were like, well, this game 2, you're sitting pretty with a 3-0 lead in Stroman. Just didn't have it. So you move on. We'll see what happens these next 2 days, and then Cubs will be coming home.
Yeah, I mean, again. I always like to reference the baseball gods, man. Like, the baseball gods gifted us one last night with the bad defense, and tonight the baseball gods taketh away our happiness because of, just a bunch of dumb shit that the Cubs could not get their heads out of their asses for. So, it is what it is, man. Again, 2 more games in the series. I think a split is possible. But they could. Tomorrow's game could just get wild. Those bullpen games, the Cubs bullpen's been good. It's going to be interesting to see how they do it, because
no Keegan
Thompson, right? And they just used F. Ross and Martin tonight and David Norris as well. So I'm just interested to see how David Ross goes about it. So
you shouldn't be fearing the Rockies and saying it can't be done. I mean, everybody laughed at Kris Bryant for even signing with him because everybody's like, well, they're going nowhere.
That's true.
Their future is dim. Why would he go there other than some cash? So to think that they couldn't beat the Rockies twice,
yeah.
I mean, I think any team in baseball could beat the Rockies twice
For sure.
in a row. So we'll see. We're hoping Ryan Herrera is going to be able to join us before the end of the podcast again. He's out there in Denver, in the clubhouse, in the press box, trying to get some interviews here after the game. And if he's done with his work in time, he'll come on and join us. If he's not, you can read his work, allchgo.com. Make sure you subscribe, become a member, get your free merch, and get access to Ryan's articles as well. Let's take a quick break, talk PointsBet.
Well, I was going to try and transition.
Okay. Well, let me just keep talking.
You can sign up for CHGO if you sign up for PointsBet because we have a great deal. Also, if you guys rode on the under for Herman Marquez, under 4.5 strikeouts, congratulations. At least you won some money tonight. Anyway, like I was saying, the best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email PointsBet at allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can actually download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Say it every show. Luke did it, so all you can do it if he can do it, because I've seen this man look at a phone before, and it is a wild scene, folks.
Rotary. I'm used to the rotary phone.
Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
CHGO, this is what we do. Doesn't matter what time the game's over. We're here for your post-game show.
Doesn't matter.
And you might want to listen. You might want to listen to this podcast in the morning, but the people that want to talk about it right after the game,
we're right here.
We are here for you. I don't care if it's 5 people, 100 people, 3,000 people, 50,000 people. We want to be here to talk Cubs baseball after the game and every other team. So we've got podcasts and live shows every team every day, post-game shows, premium written content for the members at allchgo.com. Of course, we have the dope merch headed your way now. Free shirt when you become a member in the members-only Discord, the CHGO Lounge. You know, I was thinking about the PointsBet read that we do there for our fabulous sponsor, and we just don't have the feel. You know how like sometimes players know when the pass is coming yet. We're like a month in. I don't have that feel yet where I can't tell if Cody's reading my mind like, hey, we need to get to the PointsBet ad. So I feel I felt we've gotten much better at it.
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
we've had a look across, but I'm thinking if we just do like signals or something, if I grab the bill of my hat and pull on an earlobe, that is
he's just gonna start rubbing his ear.
PointsBet. I'm gonna start going like this, and if I rub my knee, then I'm calling it off for another couple minutes.
Yeah, okay.
So if people see that on the YouTube, they know what that is, but people at home will have no idea that I've just given you the hand signal.
Yeah.
And shout out to PointsBet. They followed me on Twitter yesterday.
They
followed me too.
How about that? Triple follow.
Yeah. Maybe Drew Brees and Paige Sporonic will join them and follow us all.
Drew Brees, they went big. They went right for the stars when they got Drew Brees, huh? Yeah, I don't know. You know, this game had so many things going into it that were different about it. Again, starting the series with a win and then having the opportunity with your ace on the mound. But it was also big because it was Jackie Robinson Day. 75 years since he broke the color barrier in baseball. And I wanted, I said in the offseason, like, they've got to get the season started so they can get to this game. Like, this has to be celebrated around Major League Baseball. And frankly, not just baseball, sports all over the world, because he changed it for everybody. And it's not just African-American players, it's international players. Like, the game is completely different. And Kyle did a great job on a post that he has at allchgo.com. That is a free one, so you don't have to be a member. Make sure you go check it out. Give us what you think are the highlights. Or you know what, before you can say that, like, what did you enjoy most about putting the piece together?
What I enjoyed most was there's a piece in the article where I talked with Willie Harris, the third base coach for the Cubs, and he mentioned how in what turned out to be the last public speech of Jackie Robinson, he advocated for more black managers and black coaches. And for Willie Harris, who's from the same hometown as Jackie Robinson, you can tell how appreciative he was of being the third base coach, not only for the Cubs, but just for what it represents to other black people who aspire to be in the sport. And so just the appreciation that you get, that I got from a Willie Harris or a Jason Hayward, who gave up his game check today and acknowledges just the tremendous sacrifices that Jackie Robinson endured in order for their, obviously we're not where the game's not where it wants to be in terms of black and minority representation, but you know, it's on the up and up because of Jackie Robinson doing what he did.
Yeah. I mean, Jason Hayward, that is, you know, he's making a lot of money is what some people say, but you know what? It's what he's symbolizing while he's doing it. And he doesn't have to do it. It's still a lot of money. That game check is still a lot of money that he's putting forward. And he does so many things in the community. I know people want to see some of the baseball stuff happen, but in the last week, just think of some of the things he's done around the game, not just in the game for the Cubs. And you're trying to get young players to come up and learn to play it the right way, right? All these young guys are coming up, and this is part of the reason why he's there on the opening day roster, not just because of the contract he signed, because this is the guy he is. You know, he goes down, and when a grocery store's trying to open up in the city where they don't have enough grocery stores, Jason Hayward is there. When somebody needs a donation, Jason Hayward is there. When Jackie Robinson Day needs to be recognized, he's doing something like this. He could just say, you know what, I'm wearing number 42, and it's a big day to me. No, he took his paycheck, and he's giving it to the Jackie Robinson Foundation. It's like, he does some great things. Last weekend, everybody was all over him, and he comes running in from the outfield, and all of a sudden he's the most popular guy on the team, you know, to protect his teammates. These are the type of leadership things that are visible to us that he's doing. Imagine the things that he's doing in the locker room, on the plane, you know, as the team's traveling, as guys are coming up with spring training. He brings a lot to the table. I'm not saying he has to play every day. I'm just saying currently the way this roster is and the way this team is built, I don't mind Jason Hayward on this team because he plays the game at a different level, maybe not currently on the field the way he wants to, but he's one of the more impactful players off the field. And so maybe that role, I really do hope for him that becomes something that he wants to do. I've never talked to him about it, but I would love to see him be a manager or get into the front office or, you know, want to be part ownership like Derek Jeter or somebody like that. Like, I would love to see him embrace the game, continue to be part of the game when his career is over, because I think he has so much to offer. Yeah.
I mean, I know 7 games. He actually hasn't been too bad this year so far.
No, he's been off to a good start.
Yeah, he's off to a decent start. And I love to see it because last year was his worst season as a Cub, but I thought a lot of injuries really derailed him. Is what it is. But yeah, I mean, everything you're saying about, you know, how he is off the field and stuff, and he's always been very outspoken on this day every year.
Yep.
And just in general, he's been very outspoken about this kind of stuff. And, you know, he's just someone that everyone has respected, you know, through the years. And, you know, again, people can talk about the contract all they want. He's still a good dude. And, like, again, the Cubs have had plenty of bad contracts in the past, and some of those guys are just bad dudes, and that makes it worse. At least Jason Hayward's a good dude in the community, good guy in the clubhouse that people want to be around and be a teammate with. Like, that's something to me that I'll always look at.
I just love the Jackie Robinson gesture. I just think it's great. Daniel points out, you know, what we were talking about earlier, that, you know, it's not just that it opened up the game for African-American players. You know, Suzuki's not here. People from all over the world are playing the game. The game's nowhere near what it is today without what Jackie Robinson did. Who knows what the game is like, but it certainly isn't played at this level and expanded worldwide the way it has today. And it's just, he opened up so many opportunities for people to play the game and change lives and generations of family. I mean, it's a really cool thing. And I was telling Cody, I said, I have started the movie, the Jackie Robinson movie, like 3 times. Yeah. And all 3 times it's distracted me. And I was thinking on the way in today, I'm like, I'm so angry at myself for having not finished this movie because I've wanted to watch it. It's been out forever. Yep. And I've watched so many other garbage movies, and everybody says, like, it's a great movie. How haven't you watched it? I'm like, no, I know I started it. Like, I've started the movie on demand like 3 times, and all 3 times something pulled me away from it. And so I have to find time.
You got to finish it.
Yeah, it's such a good movie.
It's got to be in the next week or so. Like, I want to do it while it's fresh in my mind before I once again, what'll happen is I forget about it. And then, I've heard that it's an outstanding movie.
It's just
Chadwick Boseman, man, rip in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. And kind of like echoing what you two guys have said, he's a good dude. Like, last summer he opened up the Jason Hayward Baseball Academy. They're breaking ground on that, and he's just always in the community. And you mentioned the contract. I always find it funny when people are like, oh, he's overpaid, he makes this. I'm like, yeah, he probably is, but I mean, it's not my money. Like, I'm not gonna watch what he's like. Yeah, it's not affecting the team this year either. Like his contract. But one thing like that really struck out to me in the interview that he mentioned was Suzuki. That, like you mentioned, Robinson breaking the entry allows so Hayward and Suzuki could share a locker room. And for all intents and purposes, the Cubs have been diverse, especially relative to baseball, in Hayward's tenure. You mentioned Carl Edwards Jr., you mentioned Dexter Fowler, Willie Harris being there, and there's probably more that I'm not even mentioning right now. And it's just, when you think of the impact and like how far the game has come, it's astonishing. Like that Shohei Ohtani is one of the faces of baseball. He's probably the biggest face in baseball right now. And that's all because of Jackie Robinson and what he did 75 years ago today.
Well, think about that. Suzuki and Hayward playing next to each other in the outfield, and I feel like it's pretty evident just from watching them interact that there is a relationship between the two of them, that the Cubs want him to mentor Suzuki into Major League Baseball, and because they're constantly communicating and laughing in the outfield and having discussions. And that's another reason he's on the roster, is because they have this new player coming in that has to adapt to a new culture, and who better to help him than Jason Hayward? So,
yeah, that's a good point.
That's another interesting tie between those guys. Thanks for writing the article.
Yeah, go check it out.
CHGO.com.
And it's free. It's unlocked. You can go read it, and then you can subscribe because there's all kinds of other great content to read. Sorry, Luke.
No, I was just going to say thanks for writing it, and make sure you check it out, all that stuff. I know you've been working on it for a while, right? Like couple weeks.
Couple of weeks, yeah. As soon as the lockout ended, that article idea popped into my mind because I just knew that was going to be one of the first big landmark days for baseball after opening day, and something that I'm passionate about, and it's important to write about, to discuss.
Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Keegan Thompson, by the way, as we shift gears, he appealed his suspension, so he will not be playing tomorrow's game, but it's down to 2 games. Of course, as we mentioned, that impacts the bullpen. And then if we have some other nuggets and news from today that are a little bit different outside of the game, the third one would be the Ricketts withdrawing their bid for Chelsea FC. I don't want to spend too much time on this because they're backing out of it. They're not going for the bid anymore. So if it was going the other way and it had narrowed it down to like 2 people now, then I'd be like, okay, let's talk about this. But
I think it's a sigh of relief. It should be a sigh of relief for Cubs fans.
I would agree 100% that Cubs fans are like, wow, we didn't want that to happen, because if they're not, if they're financially strapped right now because of whatever reasons, going out and having a soccer team probably wouldn't help is the obvious. So we'll see. But I also, for the Ricketts family, it seems to make sense to me too. If there's people protesting and are angry that you're involved in it, why would you want to put tons of money into something that you know going into the people that would make you money don't want, right? The fans are who's going to make you that money. So if you're going into it and purchasing it and they're screaming and protesting that they don't want you to do it, well, then I would say, you know what, I'm going to take my money back to the United States and forget that investment.
Yeah, from what I read, the reason they pulled out had nothing to do with like the protesting and stuff.
But it still makes sense.
But yeah, it still makes sense. And maybe they're saying that just to say it, you know, because they can say that. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm just me as the fan guy here. I'm just a sigh of relief. But also, I'm clearly the fans in Chelsea didn't want them. So I think two groups
fan
of fans.
bases won.
Two fan bases
won there.
Yeah. So, I mean, what you said about like, you know, we always talk about biblical losses and like that whole story, and then like this whole thing with Chelsea, like it really didn't make sense why the Ricketts were trying to do this, other than the fact that we could all just sit here and assume they've been lying to our face for the last 2 years. But I mean, it's just interesting how this whole thing started, and again, thankfully, it ended.
Yes. I see January has jumped on the chat. Jack's still here. Daniel's still here.
Yeah, got a lot of people.
Joe DiGiacomo. What a great name that is. It's a great dude. I
is
think they're talking about Hayward's still there, right? A lot of Hayward love.
A lot of Hayward love in there, which is great to
Red
see.
Room says Jen.
Honestly surprising. Usually when I wrote something about Hayward last year, and the first 5 comments were about his batting average. So it's a nice change of pace.
Were you on Facebook when you did that?
No, I was actually on Twitter.
I was on Twitter.
So it would have been worse if I was on Facebook.
Yeah. That's why I asked, because like that's the first thing people in Facebook comments bring up, or this guy's batting this, and it's like, okay, well, we've kind of advanced now.
It's all my people. It's all the old people on Facebook.
The old man yells at cloud
the
guys.
old man yelling about, get off my lawn. You know what they need? They need something to boost their energy in the morning. So you want to start your day with a competitive edge? Strava CBD coffee is a game changer. It's helped thousands of people improve their overall wellness and quality of life. Strava delivers delicious, fresh, roasted specialty coffee infused with organic, broad-spectrum CBD. CBD from hemp doesn't make you high or hungry, but it does offer real benefits that can help you feel alert and focused without the jitters. Maybe you want to try some tonight. Live your day more balanced with less anxiety and fewer aches and pains. Plus, CBD in your daily routine can even help you enjoy a more restful sleep so you wake up feeling your best. So if you only get like 4 hours of sleep tonight, the CBD will help you out a little bit. The best part, Strava is all about quality. Everything's small batch, fresh, and shipped straight to your door. It also offers concentrated full-spectrum CBD tinctures for those of you looking for more traditional CBD format with a powerful entourage effect of benefits. CHGO listeners can save 25% off their entire purchase when you use the code CHGO25. That's 25% off your entire order at StravaCraftCoffee.com when you use the code CHGO25 at checkout. Discount coupon valid on non-subscription purchases only. One use per customer. Already love Strava? Well, then subscribe and save with the Strava Coffee Club. Strava, you're in control, so you save on your favorite coffees and have them automatically delivered to your home or your office on your preferred schedule. All right, we have some outside, again, Cubs lose 6-5 on Jackie Robinson Day in Denver. And then we have the former Cubs that are making all kinds of news that are still in the news. Let's start with the Javi quotes. First, talking to Gordon Whitmire of NBC Sports Chicago.
Yes.
And pointing out that he thought they were about 5 days away from having a deal done when the pandemic hit. Javi says they were 5 days away from having an extension done, and then he claims the pandemic hit and everything changed.
Yeah.
How's that make you feel?
Not great, Bob.
As if the pandemic wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, I mean,
It also took away Javier Baez.
He also says like it was really, really close, more than anybody thinks. And I feel like the general Cubs fan always thought Javi was going to be the one that they would be able to extend. He was always going to be the cheapest one, I feel like. And he was probably the biggest fan favorite outside of probably Rizzo. But, yeah, I mean, there was never really anything hidden about the contract talks with him. The alleged $180 million deal in 2019 that he basically bet on himself for. Who knows what they were going to offer him. I get, from my understanding, these quotes are about literally right before the pandemic, so it going into spring training or during spring training. So they clearly had met up after the 2019 off season, and things didn't work out. Again, it is what it is. On the flip side for me, and I totally get it if no one agrees with me, I'm okay that the Cubs didn't re-sign Javi. I think
Jack's with you. He says if Javi wanted to be a Cub, he'd be a Cub.
That's true. But just from a pure baseball perspective, I am okay that Javi did not re-sign with the Cubs. We could have used his power tonight, no doubt, but knowing him, he might have struck out 3 times and could have looked like Contreras in the 8th inning there. I mean, I do think he probably would have swung the bat. But you know what I mean? Like maybe him with all these contact bats, maybe you would get a different Javi. I don't know. We're never going to see. But my biggest thing with Javi was that he just never really changed his approach after 2019. So, to me, I wish him all the best. I hope he plays well for Detroit. We talked about it the other day, like that chef's kiss, like poetic justice that he did to the White Sox on opening day was just kind of like, oh, you guys welcomed him into the division, thought that you were going to be able to own him for the next 4 or 5 years or whatever it is, and he just walked it off on you. It was poetic justice. And so basically what I'm saying is I'm always going to root for him. It is what it is. I don't know. Like this whole contract stuff with former Cubs is just always going to be talked about, and it is what it is.
Yeah, Daniel says if it was as close as he thinks it was, wouldn't they have made an offer this offseason? I think he's suggesting that, like, it was close, the pandemic hit, and everything changed after that. Maybe it wasn't the offer wasn't taken off the table, but then they went on to lose their one, quick little playoff appearance, and it was
against the Marlins,
and it was all losing the same way, over and over. And I think at that point it was like, okay, we need to change something up. Once they finished that off-season review, that maybe that's when they decided. Maybe it wasn't during the beginning of the pandemic. Maybe it was once they lost that playoff series, that short playoff series. I don't know. I think most Cubs fans wish him well. He's one of the most exciting players in Cubs history. Came up a Cub, will always be a Cub, won the World Series, and hope he plays well in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him for betting on himself either.
Right.
I think I tweeted this morning about Javi, and I thought out of all of those former Cubs, I personally wouldn't have been upset if they brought back Javi Baez, just because his power, yes, he's going to strike out, yes, he's going to have lapses here and there, but just his exciting style of play and just him manning short, and maybe you have Horner at second, that would have been amazing defensively. And it's weird to see that out of all of the guys, it feels like Javi was the only one who was very close to signing, and and then it just disappeared. And so we need a 30 for 30 on this. This is honestly what we need.
Yeah.
It's just on this entire situation from winning the World Series till now, and what happened? Like,
but we need that 30 for 30 in like 10 years. I've had enough of it for now. Like I was, if I was writing the check, I would have been concerned about how his body would have held up because of the way he played. The thing you loved most about Javi Baez was the way he played the game, and taking home when you thought there was no chance to get it, second base when there was no chance, the head first slides where you thought every time he was going to do it, this is the time where he's going to break a finger. This is where the wrist gets hurt. I could see somebody being worried about writing a huge check and the guy's age getting up more and more that he continued to play that way.
And with the way that he swings the bat, too.
Everything,
like,
yeah.
Last year, he had
Everything
some
is
back
110%.
issues. Yeah. Last year, he had some back or oblique issues, and it all stemmed from how he swings. And my thing, when he hits the ball far, it's fun. It's great, and I have a great time, and I love his rivalry with Amir Garrett. Like, that was awesome.
His last great moment as a Cub.
Yeah, I loved every moment of it. But I don't know. Like, it just seemed like sometimes it was a little bit more about him than the team and stuff like that. It wasn't all the time like that, but there were times like that. And it's just, I don't know. To me, I will be okay. If he goes on and has like another 5-6 year stretch of just being great with the Tigers, I feel like I'm still going to
You'll be all right.
I'm still going to be all right. I'm always going to be different about KB, though. KB's the one.
Would you been all right if Joe Madden had the bases loaded and intentionally walked? Just throwing that out there. Go ahead. Describe the whole situation for us. What happened in this game for the Angels? Because it is one of the stranger things I've heard.
Corey Seager was at the plate, and the bases were loaded, and the Rangers were already up 1 run. It was 3-2.
So Joe Madden and the Angels are losing by a run.
And Joe Madden and the Angels decide to intentionally walk Corey Seager with the bases loaded. So the last time anything like that happened, I think it was just Barry Bonds back in the day.
But down a run?
But already down a run, though. And
it didn't work.
Yeah, it somehow worked.
Didn't work because, they gave up 3 runs.
Well,
right?
they did, yeah.
They gave up 3 runs, so it's like.
As the game went on, they ended up winning the game, I think. But yeah, it was, one of the weirder things that we've seen. Classic Joe Madden.
Jake Arrieta ripped him. Yeah. Right? Jake
Arrieta
jumped in on it. What is happening to baseball?
Let me bring that tweet up. It's
the Angels beat reporter for MLB.com said that this is only the 3rd time since 1950 that this has happened. Josh Hamilton was also given a free pass with the bases loaded in 2008, and Barry Bonds in 1998. Yeah, right. But other than those two, this is now the 3rd.
Seager's a good player. He's not Barry Bonds.
So
jacked up on juice.
Arrieta tweeted, again, this is Arrieta talking about Joe Madden, his former manager, who they both won the World Series with. He tweeted, walking in a run, already down by 1 with a fresh reliever in the game, you are better off pulling the pitcher and optioning him immediately because you have no faith in his ability. Seager is an incredible hitter, but what is happening to baseball? Like, it's just I mean, he's not wrong.
No, I mean he is not Barry Bonds jacked on juice.
Right.
Guys, Cubs may have lost, but we got some good news. We got Ryan Herrera in.
Oh, let's bring him in.
Hello, how's it going?
We're just all sulking in our sadness together.
Cody rode the roller coaster tonight.
Yeah, we're riding the roller coaster. We're taking the first loss. Me and Luke taking the first loss in the post game.
What's the word from the clubhouse? What were the key topics tonight?
We talked to Stroman. He basically was just saying that he's got to be better. Like, he was, kind of cruising through 3, and that 4th inning, he just kind of felt like it was his mechanics or whatever was just kind of fell off. Rossi actually said it might have been there was like a time, I don't remember which at bat it was or who was at the plate, but there was like a time called while he was in the middle of his delivery, and then that he kind of I don't know that he stumbled or anything, but just that kind of maybe threw him off. That's what Rossi said. He said, and then after that, just never really got back in the rhythm. Stroman said that he wouldn't blame anything on that. He was just on him, and he just mechanics were off for him after the 4th inning. He just couldn't kind of find it there. Tough day on the mound for him, or a tough 4th inning for him on the mound. And, you talked about Patrick Wisdom a little bit, those 2 doubles in the 8th and 9th. Obviously good to see him get out of his funk a little bit. I think he was 1 for 21 or something like that coming into the game. Rossi said, good. Rossi said before the game that he thinks he was just kind of missing his pitch. He just was just missing. Right. And so today clearly wasn't missing and got those 2 in the gap out to left field. So it was a solid day at the plate. Was it 10, 11 hits or so? Got a lot of runners on base, just couldn't complete that comeback. And, that's about it. I mean, Stroman knows he needs to be better. Rossi likes, again, it's a lot of contact and it's not a lot of strikeouts, and this team is putting the ball in play, but it's just making sure you're getting getting those runs in when you get the chance. That strikeout from Contreras, the bases loaded, was a few tough pitches. I know that second one looked maybe like it was a ball, but all kind of borderline. So just a couple missed chances. I think that's about where that's the one run difference right there.
Did you happen to ask him about Seiya and not taking him out instead of leaving him in by chance, Ryan?
It's a popular question on the chat. People wanted to know why he didn't stay in.
Rossi was not asked that today on the post game.
Are you serious?
I mean, I know that he said before that he wanted to keep Seiya, he wanted to get him off his feet. And so I think the logical thing is that he put him in for the pinch hit, got walked right away, but he didn't want him playing the field. Like, this was a scheduled day off for him, and so he just didn't want Seiya playing the field. I think that's about as simple as it is. Rossi said that pregame. That's when we asked him why Seiya was out of the lineup in the first place. It was because he didn't want him. It was his day off, scheduled day off, get him off his feet. And so even though he went in for that, ultimately a intentional walk, that was all that he was going to ask for Seiya. He wasn't going to put him in the outfield. I think that was it. I don't think there's anything. I mean, it's also with the DH and all this stuff, you're kind of trying to – I think he's still trying to learn how to play around with it too. But I think it was just keeping Seiya off his feet, not putting him out in the field when it's the day that, Ross wants to give him a break. Because it was his first time out of the lineup so far this year. So,
yeah.
I was wondering, did he confirm Mark Leiter Jr. for the start tomorrow?
He did earlier today. I tweeted it. He should turn my alerts on, Grandpa Stucky, if you know how to do that on the Twitter machine.
All I asked is if he confirmed it. I didn't ask if you tweeted
Ryan
it.
just coming in here hot, man.
I'm trying to give you things to talk about. Let's turn Ryan off.
This is like
Shut him
5
off.
hours old news. No, he did. Mark Leiter is starting tomorrow. Have not confirmed what no official move has been made, except they haven't made a 40-man move to get him on there. So I'm sure we'll get that at some point tomorrow. We'll see, and then we can talk more about it. But as far as Saturday's starter, it's looking like Mark Leiter Jr.
Do you think has he put anything out there on how many pitches this guy will get? Admittedly, I know we saw him a little bit in spring training, but I personally don't know a lot about him. Is he a one-time through the the lineup type guy, or are they is he stretched out fully enough really to be able to go 4 or 5 innings, or what do you got? Do you know anything?
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really talk. I mean, he kind of confirmed it. We asked him what he liked, and he liked what he saw. Again, the 4-pitch mix in spring training, just kind of saw what he liked. Didn't really get into too much specific on how far he could go into a game. I mean, he started a week ago with Iowa. I don't remember off the top of my head how many innings he got, how many pitches he threw. I think at least one time through the order would be good, right? I think that's what they could hope for, if not more than that. But yeah, I also you saw just over the first week how kind of not a tight leash Ross had, but just how he wasn't trying to, or making sure these guys weren't getting overworked their first couple times throwing during the season. So it might be on the same level where he's a taxi squad guy. He's gonna be obviously to fill in for Saturday, then maybe get optioned back down or whatever it takes. So I can't imagine Rossi's looking for 7 innings or more, but we could certainly ask him tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon too about that.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Ryan. I can almost pat his head from right here if you look at it. Let you. We know you got a lot of work to do tomorrow. Hey, you should check my Twitter feed because I mentioned how you're winless against me in ping pong. Okay, shut him off. No response. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. 0-1 against the King. 0-1 against the King.
Don't go have too much fun at the DMVR bar now.
That's right.
Oh, I was over there earlier today. Not doing anything I wasn't supposed to be doing, but just kind of checking it out again. It's a good bar, man. You guys should come out to Denver.
You can say that you had a beer, man. It's all right. It's all right to say you had a beer, Ryan.
I actually didn't, though. That's the problem. But no, you guys should come check it out. It's a good time.
Sounds good. Have fun the rest of the weekend out there.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
Again, you'll be able to read Ryan's stuff at allchgo.com, which is also where you can catch Kyle's article about Jackie Robinson Day and what it means around Major League Baseball. Cubs lose 6-5 the final. They can still get a series win. They could still get a split. There's still a lot of positive news out there. And they went into the game first place team in the division.
Yeah. And the Brewers got rocked tonight by the Cardinals. And right now, I feel like I hate Milwaukee more than I do St. Louis due to recent history with Wilson Contreras. So I'm going to ride that loss by Milwaukee tonight. I'm going to use that as motivation to go into tomorrow's Cubs game with a positive attitude. So there's your spin zone for the night.
That's how we're ending the podcast. Very good. Thanks for dropping in to check out the CHGO Cubs postgame show presented by Pointsbet. See if they can win one on Saturday and Sunday and get a series win against the Rockies. We'll talk to you later.